Hello, and once again, welcome to Do Life. It's always a joy to come to you and share and also pour our hearts and discuss matters of importance, not only to us, but to you, our friend, and also our viewers. I have with me again today Dr. Sandra K. Johnson, who is a world-renowned, hear this, a world-renowned supercomputer designer, electrical engineer, precise, but a brilliant woman. More than anything, she loves God, full of passion, full of life, but also making a difference in the world. I've known Dr. Sandra Johnson for almost 17 years. And I can tell you that her life is one that is of great inspiration to many people. She's touching many lives, and she's actually had the impact that in our generation, I would say that God has used her and is using her to have upon generations even yet to come. So I'm grateful to have Dr. Johnson here. And as we do, Dr. Johnson, we just chit-chat. There's no strict rules and formulas here. We just talk about matters of concern and things that we believe that people will be interested to know. So again, let's go at it. Dr. Johnson, let's go at it.
Hey, I'm ready for it. Huh? And as much as I would love to talk about supercomputer design, not this time.
Great.
I remember during our last conversation, we had a great conversation, the last couple of conversations. But one thing that came to mind for me as we ended the previous session was, what about someone who maybe is thousands of miles away from Africa? Someone who may be right here in Durham or in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and they may be thinking, what does this conversation about entrepreneurship in Africa, what does that have to do with me? Can you speak to that?
Well, I can speak to that subject because, that's something that's dear to my heart. We talked about entrepreneurship, in our previous discussions. And we talk about, and to explain it, simply said, entrepreneur is one who can do more than one thing, or one who is interested in expanding or looking at opportunities which can generate resources or actually can create benefit. There are so many people who do business, but a few people who understand business and also entrepreneurship. They have that spirit. They always create, innovative, and they are willing to try something they've not done before. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, whether you live in North Carolina or you live in South Carolina or you live in Hong Kong or you live in Korea, wherever you are, opportunities are such that if you see it and you believe in it, you pursue it. To be an entrepreneur, you don't sit in one place to be an entrepreneur. You look for opportunities that matches your interest or opportunities that you believe you can literally take advantage of. So in Africa, if somebody lives around here and they hear of opportunities in Africa and it connects with them, or they feel like, hey, this is something I like to explore or something I like to be part of, surely you can literally take that leap of faith and look for that opportunity and actually make things happen. Another thing about entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship doesn't know distance. It is always said that, this opportunity is too far. I'm telling you, people say this all the time, especially those in America who say, why all the way to Africa? Why all the way to Africa? But yet, people that live farther from us, China, India, they are all looking for opportunities in Africa. All over the world, European governments, nations, businesses are looking for opportunity. Americans, we have opportunities in different countries. So if we are going to look at things from a micro perspective, then we'll miss out the point. But if we look at a macro perspective, then as an entrepreneur, you take advantage of opportunities that present itself to you. Africa is open for business, particularly Ghana, we're open for business. And there's so many amazing opportunities. Again, you may have resources that can match somebody's interest, or you have expertise that can match somebody's interest, or you have both expertise and also capital that you can invest in partnership to do something innovative. If you want to succeed, don't look at one place. And let me put it this way. I mean, we have phone companies that are manufactured in the United States. But where do they get the parts from? They get the parts from Africa. Lithium and all these necessities that goes into making of computers or making cell phones. I mean, all of these things, you could get them outside where we are. So for me, Africa is not too far. It's only far in your mind if you don't see opportunity. But if you acknowledge and you recognize opportunity, there's no distance in opportunity. Opportunity comes only but once. If you miss it, you may miss it and never see it again. So if it comes, and you only live life once in this part of in life. Naturally, you live once. Spiritually, if you are a believer, you know that you have a future after physical life. But in terms of investments, in terms of fulfilling life's purpose and destiny, if opportunity shows up and you don't take it, then you don't have to blame anybody else, but your lack of acknowledging or taking advantage of opportunity that presents itself.
So I want to peel the onion back, if you will, a little bit, go a little deeper when it comes to this. So can you share with us, and then this is from a business that's working for the kingdom's perspective and a focus on Africa. Can you share with us some examples of the types of businesses that one can start or expand upon from here in the United States, other parts of the world where the proprietor, the owner, the founder is not on the continent?
Oh, there are a lot of opportunities. Let me give you an example. There are women who are very interested in fashion. There are those who are also interested in skincare. And there's those also interested in certain products or produce that the world needs. Well, if you know that there's someone in Africa who has experience and also had working knowledge and can also produce shea butter, for example, and you were here and you heard about how shea butter has become so necessary and everybody needs that, and you want to really venture in that space, you do your research. You find out someone who is in that space that you can connect with or you can be introduced to, and actually take it from there, get into conversations, and see how you can literally partner and start a company. Partnering is critical. You can be anywhere in the world and still be a partner wherever your interest lies. If you choose to work in South America or South Africa and you live here and you find somebody out there and you agree that, hey, let's do this together, you are in business as partners. So you don't have to necessarily be there physically. Your expertise, your knowledge, your resources, can actually be used anywhere with Zoom, with telephones, with internet. There's no distance any longer when it comes to partnership. So, if somebody is there, for example, you want to enter into a kingdom business. If you come to kingdoms, some agriculture, some manufacturing. You want to do get into either manufacturing or agriculture, or you want to get into the financial space, or you want to get into remittance and all of that, as you know that space quite well. You actually have to find the right people in those places who you can rely on or trust to do the groundwork for you, and actually see how best you can actually take advantage of opportunities that shows up. In the kingdom, we have so many special interests. If you're interested in the educational space, or you are interested in export import, or you're interested in manufacturing, whichever space, there's no limit. Anything you think about here that is important and needed business-wise, you can have a partner in Africa for that matter. I mean, there are some things that they may need from here, and there are some things that they have there that will be needed here in the world or distributed around the world. It's a tremendous place for distribution. Tremendous place also, I mean, the selling power or the buying power. So if you really think about doing a business, consider the continent, I mean, which has a lot of people, lot of people. And you won't go wrong, you won't go wrong with kingdom work or kingdom business.
Okay, I am sitting here smiling at you, His Majesty, because as you were talking, I will share with the audience what I was thinking, okay? I'm thinking, you have to get the goods here somehow. So an import-export business sounds great.
Yeah.
Did you not say just a few minutes ago, import-export?
I said import and export.
I was also thinking, I started thinking about maybe professions here in the U.S., teachers, for example. And I'm thinking, I'm sure there are many teachers around the country who are just frustrated, with the way things are being done here. And they have these great ideas about how to improve on the educational process. Wouldn't it be great if there was a way for them to start a business and create online courses that anyone in Africa or anywhere else for that matter can then subscribe to? And that is a business. And it's a business that can certainly help the kingdom. And it would be a win-win. And you also mentioned education and teachers. So it's interesting. We did not rehearse this. We did not talk about at all previously what we were going to discuss. But as you were talking, those were some of the ideas that come to mind. And hopefully for some of you listening, these are a couple examples. Import-export business. If you know nothing about it, think about that as a possibility. There are opportunities with import-export. The U.S. federal government can provide assistance and guidance and direction for that type of business. Imagine, if you will, there was an internet portal where those who are buying and selling goods either way of the African diaspora could go and buy and sell. Anyone with a small business, providing a service or goods that any individual living on the planet could use, can then, have a presence on that portal. Imagine, if you will, there's over $1 trillion that are spent by Africans in the diaspora. Imagine, if you will, the opportunities that we can provide to business owners so that they can be successful and help build the kingdom. Can you elaborate, if you will, on that? Because I see this as a huge opportunity.
Yeah, one amazing thing about business that I like is that it's give and take. And also, if you have a demand, and if there's a demand and you can supply, and at times people even don't know there's a need until you create interest in them, and that interest becomes a demand, and you can provide solutions to that or supply. You mentioned some things, and I'd like to also further it. You see, in terms of the opportunities, there are people who are frustrated, or they have literally done everything there is to do in this space, and they feel like there's still more in them, and they could be of use elsewhere, but they don't know where. Well, I invite you to come to Ghana, or I invite you to come to Africa. There's a lot of opportunities in Africa. If you're a teacher and you've retired, and yet you have so much energy, and you feel like, hey, I can do more, or you're a nurse or a doctor, or an engineer. You may have a technical skills, or you feel like, man, I can add certain value to certain corporations. I am a CEO, or I'm a director, and I have literally retired, or I've left these companies, and I have created certain investments that is working for me. I have time on my hand. I want to spend 6 months or 3 months or 1 month in Africa to do something. Well, you can translate that interest into business, and you can translate that into a win-win situation, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of your color, irrespective of your, race or gender. You can play a very significant role because this door is open. But how long will it be open? If you don't take advantage and somebody takes that space, then you lose that space. One thing that I would say also is that in this business or these opportunities where there are people who really, really want to do or add value and also want to make profit out of value, there are these opportunities that is waiting. There are companies that you could just write to and say, hey, listen, I want to take sabbatical. I'm on sabbatical. I want to take a month off or a year off, and I just want to come experience Africa. Or I want to do investments. I want to expand. Because there's so much going on here with the economy and concerns about the dollar and about the cryptos and all of this. The safest place to be, and I'll be prejudiced, it's to be in Africa. The best place to be is to put roots in there and invest, because Africa is not going anywhere. If anything at all, the very industries here that have been maxed out, they are fresh there. So you can start afresh. You could have ideas that may be so flooded here that nobody may need your services. Why don't you go beyond your frustration and look at opportunities in Africa and say, hey, I'm going to step in there, Dr. Johnson. I'm going to see what will come out of this. Take your vacations, and whilst you're there, explore, ask questions, and find people that you can rely on or trust and say, listen, I want to start something. Start small. Don't despise the days of small beginnings and see things grow. If professionals, let's say we talk about the education piece and all of that, say, listen, I have a dance studio, or I have this artistic experience here, and my community has so many of them, and I just want to be of use. Can I come to your area and put my services to work? Or I am very good at teaching young men or young women how to do this, STEM, which you are very involved in. What can I do? Because when it gets to a place, what becomes important is your value. It becomes important is the impact you're having or your legacy. Well, these are places where business opportunities are there, partnerships are there. You can actually take advantage of it. And if you need help, just call us or write to us, and we'll find best ways to help you. And ourselves, we have so many opportunities looking for people to fill. If you want to even be, say that, okay, this summer, I'm taking 3 months off. Can I come and serve in the capacity? If you don't want to do business, but you want to be of service and you want to help change some lives and also improve on situations in areas, come on. Any way, shape, or form, there's space for you. And we can partner and do some major things. I don't know if I answered you.
Oh, yes, you did. I want to elaborate a little further on
Yes.
that based upon my experience. Mm-hmm. I lived in Nairobi, Kenya for a little over a year. Africa generally is a young continent. The majority of the citizens of the continent, of the various countries of the continent, are under 30 years old. So it's a relatively young continent. They are bright, many brilliant, hungry for knowledge and success. And we of the African diaspora, many of us in this country, for example, can provide guidance and direction and wisdom for them. The time that I spent there, I could not believe the ideas that they had. Brilliant ideas, but they did not have the mentors, the coaches, the resources to facilitate. So for those of you who may be thinking about, what can I do? Think about the skills, the experience that you have, and your desire to help build a kingdom. You can connect with these young people, and it would be a mutually beneficial arrangement. I want to share one example of these young men, two young men. They started a business, a very simple business of lending small amounts of money to people who were talking on their cell phones, and they were running out of minutes. And so they would lend money so that they could just buy a few more minutes to end their telephone call. And then when they topped up, that is, added more minutes, they paid the money back. Very simple, small lending. That business now is a $1 billion business.
Wow.
$1 billion business. Something very simple. So, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or a supercomputer designer
Yeah.
to collaborate and develop a very successful business that can be used to raise the standard of living for the people in your country, the region, the continent, the whole world. Can you speak to that in a more general sense?
Yeah. At times, you see opportunities that you don't need to have a business plan for. Business plans usually are good, but there are certain times you may see a need or you may have a question, and the question will create opportunities whereby you could just say, man, this is just as simple as ABC, but I see the need here, and I see that if I actually involve myself in this area, I can actually answer a question or provide solution whilst at the same time making profit. On the other hand, you made a very clear point. There are so many people who have the energy, who have the passion. They just need somebody to come along and polish that passion and make it marketable. If you can polish, you can help a young person in Africa with a dream, but doesn't know how to produce or bring results to the dream. You can help them. It's just like they are maybe pregnant with a vision, and you may be the perfect doctor or the perfect nurse, or the baby can be breached, or the vision can be breached, and you can help reorganize the baby, put in the right birth path so that the baby is born. You are part of that baby. You are part of that process, and also you can partner with such people. The opportunities are enormous. It's amazing. There are ideas that people have used over the years. They needed to be modernized, or they need to be brought into the mainstream where it will be profitable, not only to a smaller market, but actually make it marketable internationally. I remember when cell phones came about, most people forgot about Africa. They felt Africa is too far, and they don't need cell phones. But you know something? There's more cell phones in Africa than there is here in America, because at least every African with cell phone, most people, majority of them, have two cell phones because of electricity outages. They power two phones, so if one goes off, the other is working. A person who has not entered into school, who doesn't know how to read or write, at least knows how to dial, knows how to text, and knows how to use a cell phone. Later on, people realized that Africa is one of the greatest markets for cell phone sales. But in the past, people took it for granted and felt Africa doesn't need all of that. Listen, there are so many opportunities on the continent. And if you can harness that market and also help develop it, you can literally, it's like just that proverb. Somebody who discovered a treasure and he hits it and go and sell all that he or she had to come and possess it. There's a lot of opportunities. And I will say that if you are interested in doing something significant in Africa, then join us. Listen, this conversation is so exciting. I don't think we should stop here. But for the moment, we would like to just switch. And next week, we want you to join us. We'll continue this conversation. And we just want to flow. We're not going to stop because there's so much here that I believe will benefit you. And we want you to actually pull on it. So we'll see you same time next week. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. We're going to do it
It's been
again
my pleasure.
next week.
Hey, Life International family. Thanks for watching another Do Life session powered by King Adamtey. We hope that you were blessed by today's discussion and have learned some key principles that you can apply to your everyday life. Join us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next Do Life session. You can join us by visiting our YouTube channel, We're Life International RTP, and if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a session. If you're in the Research Triangle Park or the surrounding area, we would love for you to join us on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our worship service. We're located at 5310 South Austin Avenue, Durham, North Carolina, 27713. If you're not able to join us in person, don't worry. You can join us via live stream by visiting lifeinternational.us/DOLifeTV. If you were blessed by today's message, we encourage you to give. Your giving is how we can continue to bring you messages like this on a weekly basis. You can give via text using your mobile device by texting your donation amount to 84321. You can also give online by visiting us at lifeinternational.us/give. Or you can give by scanning the QR code with your mobile device's camera. Thank you for supporting our ministry through giving. We look forward to doing life with you. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next time. Bye.